Well, hey there, rock stars. Sarah Rockin' Robbins here, coming to you live for another prospecting tip of the day. As we get started, I would love to get acquainted. If you guys don't mind just shouting out below who you are and where you're tuning in from, I would love to say hello. And if it's your first time watching, click a number 1 in the comments so I know it's your first time. I would love to warmly welcome you. And don't forget, for a chance for a shout, you can click the share button, share it on your team pages or to an inbox of somebody who will benefit from this. Remember, as always, the more who know, the greater your team will grow. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. And as you're saying hello, I would love to quickly introduce myself because there's so many first-time viewers like Mercy who's on today and all of you that are posting. Hello to all of you. Who am I? I am Sarah Robbins. I am the author of the best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. You can now get this on audio, which is read by me, Kindle, hard copy. You can give it to team members as they join your team. You rock, or a little recognition gift too. If you buy it on Amazon, by the way, you can email rocktheaudio@gmail.com. Any version is fine. I send you 3 free gifts, which is super awesome. What is also super awesome is our training site. If you go to sarahrobbins.com, there's some great things that you can pick up, like our audio training. We've got my system for network marketing success, a Rockstar Recruiting School CD or MP3, a great leadership series 2, and some really awesome live master classes as well. So speaking of, who was on the Power Presenting one recently where we talked about 3-way calls, we talked about live events, we talked about virtual events, team meetings, and so much more. Were you guys on? It was so good that people started requesting it. And so here's the thing, we put some sessions on demand up on my website at sarahrobbins.com. So you can check that out, Power Presenting. But I also announced our next one is going to be on November 1st. If you'd like to purchase that class as well, that one is going to be on Conquering the Close. I've got it in front of me right now on my website, sarahrobbins.com. So basically what we're going to touch on is how to crush your conversion rate. So basically get people out of your funnel and off the fence and into your business. We're going to talk about how to crack common objections and conquer the close to help you to get more customers and consultants in your network marketing business. So that's November 1st. You can't make a live register anyways. There's going to be a replay as well. I wanted to share with you guys a story that I shared at the end of my Power Presenting class. By the way, it was a 2-hour training together. So this was just the last and final few minutes that I think benefits everybody in the business, no matter how long you've been in or where you're at, because either we face a time and a space where we are feeling that fear of rejection or even loss because people kind of come and go in business and in life. But I do think it helps to put things into proper perspective too. So this was basically an article that was sent to me. Hey Terry, good to see you. So this was an article that was sent to me a few years back in the business that I thought was super helpful. You know, as we embark upon month end, right, and closing out business, I think it's important that we put things into proper perspective. But also, too, I think we do a disservice. I know we do a disservice when we tell people when they join the business that it's just going to be easy. And all of a sudden they find that they're facing the enemy of rejection and, apathy and all of these things that start to happen, deception, right? And even attrition as people leave the business too. That's why I tell people it's not going to be easy. You know, the process of what we do, guys, it's very simple, meaning we're talking to people, right? It's kind of like the movie Groundhog Day. We do the same thing over and over again, consistency. But what makes it tough, it's what's in between the ears, right? It's mindset that we have to work on. It's that feeling of fear or fear of rejection, or when somebody leaves, that guilt that we feel with attrition. I always say, you're not responsible for people's success or failure. It's not fair to own their success and be like, well, they were successful because I was a great sponsor. But in the same respect, we can't say, well, they didn't make it because I was just a crummy leader. That's not fair. We're responsible to get people off to a great start. But I think we have to set people up for success and sharing. And these are some of the kind of the things that you're going to face, some of the resistance that you're going to face in starting the business. And I want you to know that it's normal. It's totally normal. And if you feel like you've hit a wall, call me, let's talk through it, because I want you to know that there's nothing that we can't work through, right? So I shared this article that was sent back to me a few years back, and it really talked about the price of network marketing. We talk about time and financial freedom, yet what do we have to do to get there, right? It's not easy. The process is simple, but it requires hard work, right? Consistency and getting through the tough stuff, the mental stuff, what's in between the ears, facing fear, rejection, going through attrition, people leaving the business, all of that stuff as well. And let me just say, leadership is hard. Leadership is hard, right? Can I get a good amen there? It is hard. So it talks about the price, but it also talks about the promise. And I look and I say, was it easy? No. But was it worth it? You bet, because now I can live more. I can give more. I love my life even more. And now I'm truly experiencing that freedom in my life that everybody shared was possible. And there is nothing like seeing your reason why in action. There's nothing like being more than blessed to be a blessing. So keep that in mind, guys, that even though it's not easy, it's definitely worth it. I go in with the mindset, I can do anything for a short period of time for the long-term reward, right, that I desire and that my family deserves, for the legacy that I'm leaving. So I want you guys to really think about that and put that into perspective as well. But the power really is in prospecting and working through your numbers and figuring out what your own set of odds is. So I'm going to share with you this story. I shared it one other time on the live video, and some of you may have missed it, but I want to just share with you some of my own thoughts kind of in these illustrations as well as we go forth. And I want to encourage you guys to share this with your teams, because this one article was the one thing that kept me going. It kept me, besides of course my faith and my family and all of those things, but meaning the one business tool, I guess, the one illustration that allowed me to really face my fears in the business and to really persevere through them. It's really what I understood, what it was going to take that helped me to really get through it as well. I think sometimes we think we don't want to scare people off. No, what's more scary is when they do an event and nobody buys or nobody joins and they're like, oh my gosh, this just doesn't work, right? No, we have to be real with people. We have to be honest with people. That's how we can help them to achieve their best too. So I'm going to share with you the article and some thoughts, and I want to be sure that you guys share this with your team because it is so, so powerful. So, at the time, I didn't really know much about the people that they were sharing, but basically what it does, it paints a picture of the fact that when you face rejection, it's not personal rejection, it's just personal preference. I always tell people that if you had a room full of 200 people, I've done this illustration so many times, if you ask the whole room, hey, who wants to be a teacher? The job starts tomorrow. By the way, I was a teacher, so that's why I do this illustration. You could use your profession too, I don't care what it is. Typically when I ask a room full of 200, I get 3 or 4 people at best who raise their hands. And then I'll always ask them jokingly, well, do you think teaching is dumb? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, do you think I'm dumb? I always say, don't answer that. I always say, see guys, it's not personal rejection, it's personal preference. Teaching is not for you. Owning a business, it's not for everybody. I look at my own sister who told my mom and myself, both of us have experienced the time and financial freedom that come through the business. She watched us for 10 years and said no for 10 years. Sometimes it's people's timing too, right? Our why evolves with time. Even if you're not in the business. My sister didn't have any children yet. She was teaching. So when she had her own child, her why evolved and she thought, I want to do for my son what I did for so many others. That's why you stay in touch with prospects. That's why you revisit people from time to time. That's why you don't take them off your list. You're going to hear an illustration of this in this story. But if you take it as personal rejection, you're going to quit the business. That's just it. Instead, if you just look at it as personal preference and just say, I'm going to give this person great customer service. I'm going to build a relationship. I'm going to follow up and say, all right, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep working through my odds. I know I'm going to find those 4 people who would say yes, right? And it only takes a few. I'm going to illustrate that as well. But it starts with the story of Mark Yarnell, who was a legend in our industry, minister in a small town of Texas. He looked for a way to change his life. He was about to lose everything, and he discovered network marketing. Now, he had a wise sponsor because the sponsor actually set him up for success by saying, these are the enemies that you're going to have to conquer as you start the business. He said, here's the promise. Now, you can first, of course, you paint the picture, right? It's kind of like, you know, Moses in the promised land, right? God said, here's this land flowing with milk and honey. So he said, here's the promise. You've got something great ahead of you, but you're going to have to face some pressure on the journey. But the cool thing is in that story, God provided for him. He protected him on the way. But we've got to keep our eye on the promise. So the Mark's sponsor said, there is a promise. The business can set you free financially in 1 to 3 years. But he also gave him the price. He said, to succeed, you're going to have to face and conquer 4 major enemies. And Mark said, it's a deal. See, isn't it easier when you know what you're going to face up front, right? So Mark began by inviting 200 friends to his house to watch a video, and 80 people said, not interested. So think about that. 80 said not interested, even coming, right? So he encountered enemy number 1. That was rejection. He thought, no problem, because my sponsor told me that was going to happen. I mean, do you tell people, hey, you're going to invite 20 people and probably 2 people will show up? Be honest with people, right? We know that it happens. We know. He thought, no problem. My sponsor warned me about that. I've still got 120 people coming. Guess what? He encountered enemy number 2, deception, right? So here's what happened. No problem, right? My sponsor warned me about that. I've got 70 people who watched the tape. Guess what? 57 said, not interested. So here's the thing, right? So deception, all these people say they're going to show and they don't show. So even your 2 people say they're going to show, they don't show, right? Deception. Okay, all these people still came, they watched the tape. Guess what? 57 said not interested. He encountered enemy number 3, which is apathy. I'm daunted, he thought, no problem. 13 people signed up. Guess what? 12 of them dropped out of the business shortly thereafter. You know, we've got to let people know, guys, it's similar to, you know, a gym, like why it's so full in January. Everybody says they're going to commit, they're going to do the work, but people's willing to has to be greater than they're wanting to. Not everybody's willing to do the work, right? And again, life gets in the way, things get in the way, life happens. He encountered enemy number 4, which was attrition. Attrition left him with just 1 serious business partner. But guess what? To this day, that single distributor earns him over $50,000 a month. Now, his story's not unique. This article went on to tell so many other stories. Bill Britt, one of the most successful distributors in Amway, 2020 did a feature story on him, and they basically interviewed all the whiners and complainers who didn't do anything with the business. They then went to his home, Bill Britt, and they said, you know, what was the secret for your success? Obviously, it worked for you. And guess what he said? He said, there's no secret. He said, I showed the plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no. 900 out of 1,200. So 3/4 of the people said no. 300 people signed up. Now, again, we don't know how long it took him to recruit this amount of people, right? Many, many years. I recruited 300 people in a decade. And he's a lifer, right? He's done this for a long time. He said of those 85, only 35 were serious. Of those 35, 11 made me a millionaire. So like Mark Yarnell, Bill worked through the numbers. Jason Borrego told his story. He was a distributor in a company and he signed up 50 people. And he heard so many no's on the way to those 50. He took one man who he thought would be terrific to lunch, and the guy kept telling him no. But he kept inviting him to lunch, and I think he took him for like 6 months, and then on the 7th month, something changed, and the guy told him yes, and that one guy made Jason over $1 million. So he worked through his numbers. According to Richard Poe in Wave 3, while starting Amway, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, some of America's richest people, they recruited 500 people, and 495 dropped out, but the 5 that didn't quit built $7 billion in revenue under Amway. And there's so many different stories. Jeff, top money earner at Manatech, signed up 27 people in his first month. Results not typical, right? I mean, that's crazy. So many people think, well, gosh, he's so talented at sponsoring. What did he do? And Jeff said, nope, I'm not talented at all, because get this, hear this. He feels actually he did poorly. To recruit the 27, he talked to 2,000 people the first month, and of the 27 who did anything significant with the business was a guy by the name of Rage Bauer, who ended up with like more than half of the company at the time in his downline. So his word to you is the numbers never fail. Pick your goal, get into massive action. If you talk to enough people, you're going to make it. You know, I always tell people, I think, guys, this is just my little kind of insert here. We get to a place where we overtrain yes, I said overtrain. We think, oh my gosh, I've got to be on like a training every single day. We overtrain. We over motivate, like over incentivize, right? Oh, I'm going to give you like $1 billion for building a business. I'm sorry, if you're not motivated by the core compensation plan and all of the things your company has in place, what more is going to motivate you, right? Your personal why should motivate you more than anything. We overtrain, we over motivate, and we overthink things. I mean, really, we overcomplicate. Overtrain, over motivate, overcomplicate, over educate, right? We just put too much thought into it. When really, what is the cure to that ails you? Personal activity is a cure to what ails you. Getting out and presenting this over and over again, thousands of times, is the cure to what ails you, guys. I mean, that's just being honest here. And so, I love what Jamie Walker says. You want to know what the answer to your problems is as it relates to network marketing? She says, do you know, Rita, recruiting is the answer. Recruiting is the answer. So how do I recruit new people? I get into personal activity. I present and I talk over and over and over and over and over again, and I work through my own set of odds. Now, you might be thinking like, I don't believe this article. Fact or fiction here, Sarah? Back it up. I'm going to back it up with my own personal numbers. I'm going to back it up with an industry analogy that I have seen in person every single year for several years in a row. First and foremost, I've always been invited to speak on stages at different events, and at this event several years in a row, they invited the #1 earners and their companies up on stage. So I was up there with a bunch of other, top earners from different companies. Here's what I love. Different products, different pay plans. So what does it tell you? This doesn't have anything to do with your product or pay plan. You just want to have a good product, right? That gives people great results. You can stand behind it. And, a plan that's going to pay you well. Okay. So, anyways, long story short, we have all of, these people on stage, and we were all asked a similar question. How many people did you recruit? How many conversations have you had? How long have you been in the business? And then, this is the key question, how many does the majority of your income come from? So we're all on stage, and we had been in the company anywhere between 5 years at the time, I think was me, to over 25 years, some of our, legends in the industry. How many people did we talk to? Oh, we had thousands of conversations. We'd done hundreds of presentations. And by presentations, if you're on my class, which you can find on my website, Power Presenting, I'm talking 3-way calls, home events, team meetings, etc. And then how many did we sponsor? I think it was anywhere between 50 to over 250 people, right, over time, of the people that were represented on the stage. But here's the common thread. We were then asked this question: how many people does the majority, how many legs or leaders, so does the majority of your income fall under? Like, who are your major producers? And everybody said anywhere between 3 to 5 people, just a handful of people. I look at my own numbers. I've done thousands of presentations. I've had hundreds of conversations. I personally signed up over 300 people in my company, so you look at it probably like 1 in 5. My organization is over 300,000 distributors. Our total group volume, we did over $1 billion in sales in a year. And I would say over 60% of it stems from 6 out of the 300 people that I've sponsored. Now, I do have 15 leadership legs or lines, but I would say majority of it comes from 6. So, you're thinking, okay, what is the lesson in all of this? The lesson is this: your success is directly related to the degree in which you're willing to work to find others like yourself who are committed to succeed. Mark Yarnell's odds were 1 out of 50. Jeff's were 1 out of 2,000. Would you be willing to go through 200 people? Let's pretend we're back in that room of 200 people again, right? The analogy that I gave you earlier. Would you be willing to hear no, times 200 to hear yes, 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 yes? Would you be willing to go through 200 people to find the one who would maybe make you $50,000 a month, or go through 200 people to become a millionaire, or hear uncounted no's to sign up 50 people to find $1 million, sales team? I hope you will. It would be easier, right, if we knew our odds up front. It's like, I tell people, if you knew there were 4 gold bricks in your backyard that were worth millions, would you be willing to dig until you found them? It would be easier if you knew the promise up front, right? Because you'd have to pay a price. But here's the thing. You have your own set of odds, right? You don't know what they are until after you've succeeded. So if you've gone through 50 or 100 people and you haven't found one serious person yet, you can either give up and assume, you know what, this doesn't work for me, but it magically works for so-and-so, right? Success leaves clues. Or you can recognize that you're willing to, or that you're working through your own set of numbers, your own set of odds. Are you willing to find out what your own set of odds is? And I see some of you guys saying yes, but really, are you willing to? Because your willing to has to be greater than you're wanting to, which means we don't complain to our upline. We don't quit on our downline, right? We don't walk out on our reason why. You know, we have a day where maybe people say no or people quit. We have to keep going. We have to pay the price for freedom. Remember, the numbers never fail you. Despite where you are in your skill level, your success is assured if you talk to enough people. And as your skill improves, so does your odds. There's no such thing as luck. There is no such thing as luck in this industry. I love what our founder says. She says, the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? Biz Stone, co-founder of Twitter, he says, timing, perseverance, 10 years of trying eventually makes you look like an overnight success. Winning big, guys, it's a matter of being willing to pay the price. Are you really willing? You know, you can compress a 30 to 50 year career into 3 to 5, but you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to talk to a lot of people in this 3 to 5 years. Remember, it's not what the process itself is not, you know, hard, right? But it's not easy, meaning it's simple. You talk to people, you just excite them and you invite them to hear more, right? But you keep going, you keep presenting, you keep sharing. So there's no such thing as luck. Winning big is a matter of being willing to pay the price. Are you willing? Guys, the future is in your hands, and the choices you make today will determine the course of your entire future. I look at now, you know, my husband and I were able to be full-time hands-on mom and dad. We fund children's education and nutrition programs here and abroad. We build homes for, we don't call them orphans, our angels in India. We've adopted hundreds of children. And thanks to the business, we don't just give, we go. It gives us the time freedom. So now I truly live a life of true legacy. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. I always say, what is your why worth? There is nothing like seeing your reason why in action. Don't walk out on your why. Keep prospecting, keep presenting. Remember, it only takes a few. So guys, I want you to go for your gold. Guys, I know this training is something, if you've got one person on your team, they need to see it, send it to their inbox. If you've got hundreds, share it on your team page, because it's going to get people through. It did for me. This one article got me through the hard days, but it also kept me dreaming bigger, thinking what's possible for me too. I think it's great when you know the promise of network marketing, what's available, but we also have to know the price as well. So make sure you guys share this with your teams today. Also, remember, I want to invite you to my next live masterclass. It's going to be on November 1st. You can pick it up now at sarahrobbins.com. I'll show you how to spell my name, so you can find it, Sarah Robbins, Sarah with an H, Robbins2Bs.com. Pick up Conquer the Close. We're going to be talking about how to crush your conversion rate to get people off the funnel, off the fence, into your business. So to make your presenting even more powerful, all the people you're talking to, how to get them joining you. We're going to crack common objections so you won't be afraid of them. You're going to know exactly what to say and how to say it. And we're going to talk about how to conquer the close. So to get you new business partners and new customers as well, it's going to be incredible. I'd like to invite you guys all to that. If you can make it live, if not, no worries. We'll give you a replay. All companies are welcome. Sign up now at sarahrobbins.com. It's coming up in less than 2 weeks, and I just can't wait. All right, guys, I hope to see you there, if not sooner, like here tomorrow for another free prospecting tip of the day. With that, I would love to hear what you learned. What are your takeaways? Share them below. And don't forget to click the share button and share this on your pages. With that, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, guys. God bless, and goodbye for now. Rock on, rock stars.